Makerworld has recently announced that they are banning AI-generated models from monetizing on their platform. AKA, they don't let the AI-generated models be submitted to exclusive program anymore. So at first, when I saw this announcement about this policy, which wasn't also very recent, it was about 2 or 3 months ago, I was so joyful. I was over the moon over this single fact that finally some of these platforms are realizing that AI content is harming their platform and their environments and their users, and are willing to take some form of action to prevent it. However, after I thought about it like maybe 5 minutes, reality kind of flooded back into my brain, and I was filled with this feeling of naivety that maybe it's too good to be true. Maybe it is too naive to think like that. What I want to talk about here is specifically these type of policies on platforms who are trying to detect and prevent AI-generated models to enter spaces strictly reserved for creative human beings. I want to look at these policies very in-depth and carefully. I want to dissect them and decide what is potentially good about them, what is a bit useless and bad about them that people who are managing these platforms maybe are not really thinking about it, or maybe don't have the tools to really implement this policy in place, and what is completely complex and ugly about it. I said a lot of it, but that's okay. I do believe that there are definitely certain goods in finally having this kind of policy in action. For example, although creating something with AI already harms at least 2 stakeholders in this whole equation, one is the planet, like we know that the AI generated things harm planet, drink a lot of water, and it is not okay. And the second one is the person who created the data first, that then the AI model is trained on their data and they're not getting contributed or compensated in any way. So you are harming 2 people already by generating models. Really, I'm trying to not turn this video into me letting out my built-up frustration on the internet, although I would love to. However, it might be tolerable if you are doing it only for yourself and you are not profiting off of it. When this kind of behavior starts getting rewarded, when they are faced with, real money, real exposure, people seeing your work and downloading it and bringing you revenue, then it spirals out of hand so quickly. So what exclusive program is basically a quality control kind of program of the Makerworld that allows people who reached a certain threshold of recognition and quality production to be able to turn the points that the platform gives them into real adult money. I like to emphasize on this threshold/quality control program a lot, because to be able to join the exclusive program, you have to have certain criteria that couldn't be met unless you knew what you're doing and the models you were creating actually had some value to them. You had to have certain amounts of prints on all of the models you have in your collection, all of the models you published basically, and you had to have a certain number of followers, which means a lot of people decided that you are creating bursty stuff and they wanted to follow your work online. It's great to see that platforms are finally realizing that people are creating accounts that kind of cancels that role of quality control and that role of threshold that makes the exclusive models kind of cool and unique. Because if the threshold is having a lot of followers, and if the point is the accumulated print of several models, if you have an account that it is creating AI generated models, and then you are easily able to create 200 models in a week, then yes, if you earn half a print on each of them, then yes, you easily will reach the 100 print limit in no time. Even if the models are not good. Even if the models are so bad that some of them have only 2 prints and the other ones have only 0 prints. So the exclusivity of exclusive program will not be there anymore if a lot of people can create AI-generated models and then kind of compete with real designers. The sole fact that this policy is already in action is perfect. I have nothing over it. And finally, just having this policy live on the platform has its fair share of creating discussions and arguments. I'm seeing a lot of arguments and topics in, for example, Bamboo Lab forum about AI generated models and either they should be or not to be in the exclusive program. And this type of, wave in the community is positive in my opinion. So if the policy is bringing more of this discussion, then yeah, it is good again. So now we have some good that is coming from this policy, also some ban that this policy is doing, and that is great, in my opinion. However, now we reach the bad/useless part. This is the part where naivety comes to play. Because do we really think that the platform can monitor and regulate all of the models which are AI generated from competing with real people? I believe no, we are not that naive. So I saw a post on Bamboo Lab community forum from November 2025. And this is almost not the beginning, but the very weird AI generated models era, basically. And this post is telling you to how to spot AI generated models, and how to understand they're AI generated. Maybe you don't want to support them, maybe you want to report them for IP rights and stuff like that. It is pointing out a few details. For example, it is telling you that look at the renders, and sometimes, a lot of times, in the renders there are various details that when you open the model, they are missing. And you're seeing some weird topology going on. You're seeing some, fusion of parts of the model together, and you're seeing asymmetry, where a normal creator would probably do it using symmetry on. And they're telling you this type of stuff. And it is all well and good until you notice it is May 2026 and the AI generated models are far, far better than what they were 6 months ago or 7 months ago. It's unbelievable. So a lot of these details don't apply to AI generated models anymore. So a big argument about the uselessness of this policy is that I still believe that there is not a similar system for fact checking, not fact checking, but human checking of the meshes in real life. There are some AI text detections that tells you, yeah, this is generated by AI. Good for you, don't use it. I don't believe there are still tools that's good that are able to tell some mesh is AI generated on the internet. How am I expecting the platform to rely on the reports of people to identify AI generated models and then ban them from the exclusive program or anything similar? And it is problematic, and it is a bit also okay, I'm gonna enter the complex part later. But yeah, this is bad because then the moderators still can't say which is AI generated or not AI generated. Users definitely cannot tell, and there is no what it is for, and there is no established tool to help them actually do that. So whether or not this policy is in full action is debatable, at best. I don't really think that they are exempting a lot of models, a lot of really AI-generated models from platform yet. So finally, we reached to the complex and a slightly ugly part of my argument. And I have several concerns about this part. And one of them is that, is it even possible to actually have such a tool to be able to tell if something is AI generated or not? One of my friends suggested that maybe there will be tools that can detect this AI generated something in the mesh, that then when it is going through a scanner, the scanner can tell you that yeah, it is AI generated. But because of the nature of 3D modeling softwares, I don't believe that's applicable. If you're working with any 3D modeling platform, doesn't matter if it is SolidWorks that creates feature-based products and then convert them into STL, or no, maybe if you're working with Maya or ZBrush that you're working on a mesh and you're manipulating that, but at the end optimize it for a slicer for a 3D printer, so you are bringing down the number of mesh polygons basically on your mesh. So all of these actions, optimization of the mesh or the conversion of the mesh between the feature-based and like maybe very highly noded and divided mesh to an optimized mesh for 3D printing, it is already a machine that's doing it. You are just telling the software, okay, to bring down the count of, for example, vertices in this mesh from 2 million to 2,000. And that plugin does it for you. And it's all well and good. But if that is already something that a machine does, and then the AI generated models is already something that a machine does, so how these two exactly are going to be different? Like, I am not sure that it is possible to do that. I'm not really sure. And I'm not really also good in knowing what AI can or cannot do right now. So if you have more enlightened, if you're more enlightened about this, please let me know, because I would like to know. That part is the complex part. However, the added complexity is also very social and community related now, because there is literally no tell for the platform. I'm not sure if there is any tell, but a lot of creative, very good designers are getting flooded by these AI generated models on the platform. Now they are competing with other creators who do not absolutely have those criteria, but because the exclusive program is kind of malfunctioning, they are competing in the same spaces. That is ugly. I do not like it. I do not like it that the people who are facing the harm are smaller creators and people who are really using their creativity to create something. They're really struggling to get that recognition, to get that like a spotlight on them, and they tried hard to finally enter exclusive program without using an AI and using their own AI, their own BIs, which is brain intelligence. Yeah, they cannot do anything about it, because at the end of the day, they cannot compete with an algorithm which is optimized to create models, and it's much faster than them and has many more resources than them. A lot of people don't understand the harms of AI is usually imposed on people who specifically don't want to have anything to do with AI. They don't want to use AI, don't want their work to be shared with AI, they don't want their work to be trained, they don't want their work to be used to train AI. So a lot of creative people are imposed to the harms that AI is doing without their consent. I do not like this, and I am really controlling myself not to vent, because I would like to vent, oh boy, but I am not anyways. So yeah, finally, that's me on the AI exemption policies on 3D modeling platforms. I really would like to see more of it. I would like to see better of it. I would like to see a stronger of it. I would like to see real work getting done and not just, we tried our best, you know what, f*** you. No, I will not settle down for that, especially because this is a space that I really enjoy. I would like to stay in it. I would like to continue creating in it. But then it is so unsafe, and when the competition is so unfair, it is actually, you know what, it is so depressing to stay in it sometimes. Creating this video was a bit depressing for me. I was putting it off for so long, and I wrote like a script to read from, but then I was just like ignoring portions of the script because I was like, yeah, no, this is just revenge and frustration and doesn't belong in this argument, so don't tell it. At the same time, I'm so frustrated with seeing people who are competing with my own work, creating basically the doppelganger of my own ideas using AI. I hate to see that. And at the same time, I feel sometimes so small and insignificant in the creative space that I don't know if my rent or anything actually can do any benefits to this whole situation at all. But I'm trying my best, and I'm doing what I can do, and you can do also things that are in your circle of power. Anyways, whatever I create, no matter if it's a 3D model, if it's a post, or if it's like a YouTube video, I do all of it by myself. Zero AI generated things. in this channel and in my channel on Makerworld. So if you want to support me and you want to empower some person who's working in the creative industry and is not using AI, you can always check out my models on Makerworld and download them and enjoy them for free. And you can always support me separately on Ko-Fi, or you can just subscribe to my Ko-Fi and stay updated about the little things that I do. Thank you for being here today, and hopefully see you in another video. Bye bye.